ICD-10 CM JJ-10B Guidelines, page 49, part 26.
12. Excludes notes.
Excludes notes, right? And now we have the second excludes notes, which is excludes 2.
Yes.
What is excludes 2?
A type 2 excludes note represents not included here.
An excludes a note indicates that the condition excluded is not part of the condition represented by a code, but a patient may have both conditions at the same time. Okay? Go ahead.
When an excludes 2 note appears under a code, it is acceptable to use both the code and the excluded code together when appropriate.
Right. So all the excludes notes 2 means is that, okay, you're coding this condition, but this other condition is not included in that code. So if you want to code it too, you have to use another code. That's all it's saying. Remember that excludes 1 means this other condition can never happen with the first code. Now excludes 2 means this other condition can happen with the other code, but it's not represented by the other code. You need an additional code to do this. Okay, that's the only difference. And if you want to read more about the differences, there's a little more information there, right?
Right.
Excludes 1 and excludes 2. Okay, that's our theory for today. Now let's do a problem. So, ready, set, go. Okay, ICD-10 JJ-10A-391, that's page 391, exercise 3, and this is a level 1 exercise, and it reads like this, or the title is like this.
Occlusion, coronary artery.
Occlusion, or blockage, right, of a coronary artery. And the text reads like this.
Impending myocardial infarction, crescendo angina, resulting in occlusion of coronary artery.
Of coronary artery, right? That is the diagnosis. And now we're going to count to 3, so you can pause the video and give us the ICD-10 code for this diagnosis. 1, 2, 3. Okay, the answer is?
I-24.0.
I-24.0. You got that? If you got it, congratulations. If you didn't get it, let's give you a couple of tips. First tip.
Start with occlusion artery.
Occlusion artery. Now, the second tip.
Impending means it might happen in the future, but it hasn't happened yet. So, impending myocardial infarction means without myocardial infarction.
Right. There's no myocardial infarction yet. There's like a threat of one in the future, but it hasn't happened yet, so you can't code it. So that's without myocardial infarction, right? Why don't we put without myocardial infarction also in quotation marks?
Okay.
Right? There you go. Now it looks better. Without, with the without.
Oh.
Included. Okay, the third tip.
Ischemic means that the blood has stopped flowing due to an occlusion.
All right. In the tab that you're going to find ischemic. And they're going to say, where is that word in my text? You don't find it. But ischemic just means that the blood flow has stopped. Why? Because there's an occlusion. There's something that's blocking the blood flow, right? And now, so you can understand a little better, we have a video there, right?
Right.
So let's go to the video.
All right, here we go.
The artery and the right coronary artery.
Starting to
the bloodstream contains red blood cells, which deliver oxygen to
explaining
the
blood flow, right?
Right.
It also contains fats or lipids, known as low-density lipoproteins or LDL cholesterol. Atherosclerosis begins when LDL cholesterol accumulates in the arterial wall, forming a plaque.
There's, you see, it's
Over
accumulating,
time,
right?
the plaque becomes larger. Some plaques never obstruct the coronary blood flow. The patient with asymptomatic coronary disease has no chest pain and no myocardial ischemia.
There's the word ischemia, you see?
To the point that the blood flow is compromised. The patient may have chest pain, but only with exertion. This syndrome is known as stable angina and is not a clinical emergency. Such a patient is still at risk for an acute life-threatening event because a plaque can suddenly rupture, causing clotting of the artery, known as coronary thrombosis. When a thrombotic occlusion is subtotal, an acute coronary syndrome develops, and there are 2 types. The first type is known as a non-ST segment elevation myocardial infarction, and the second type is known as unstable angina. With these syndromes, the patient experiences chest pain at rest, and the electrocardiogram shows ST segment depression. contrast, when the thrombus completely occludes the vessel, the myocardium is injured, and the syndrome of ST segment elevation myocardial infarction develops.
Okay.
In summary, patients with coronary artery disease may be asymptomatic, they can have stable angina, or they can suffer an acute atherothrombotic event.
Okay, that's her video. And remember that the guy says, when the thrombus occludes, that means that's the occlusion that we're talking about. Occludes means blocking, okay? All right, so now that you understand what they're talking about, right, let's go back to our problem. Right? You know what we're talking about with occlusion, and you know the answer already, that is I-24.0. So we're going to count to 3, so you can pause the video and give us the path, how we got to the answer, right? So 1, 2, 3. All right, this is the summary of the whole problem. This is an impending myocardial infarction, crescendo angina or angina, resulting in occlusion of coronary artery, right? There's only one code, and the code 1 through the index is found like this.
First you go to index.
Go to index.
Then you start with occlusion.
Occlusion.
Then you go to artery.
Artery.
Then you go to coronary.
Coronary artery.
And it goes on, but it also said without myocardial infarction.
Remember that in the tips we told you, impending means it hasn't happened yet. It might happen in the future, but it hasn't happened yet. So this is without myocardial infarction, right? So the code is, if it hasn't happened, we can't code it. We only code things that have happened. So this is without myocardial infarction. So the code that we get is
I-24.0.
Okay, we're going to check this code in the tabular. So the code 1 through the tabular is checked like this.
First you go to tabular.
Uh-huh.
You start with I-24.
Which is?
Under acute ischemic heart disease.
You say ischemic means that the blood, the flow of blood has stopped, right? For some reason, in this case, because there's an occlusion, right? So let's keep going.
I-24.0.
What is that?
It's acute coronary occlusion not resulting in myocardial infarction.
And that's the key part here. Not resulting in myocardial infarction, which means that there's no myocardial infarction yet. Okay? So that's why there's an equal sign at the end. It means that that's our answer, right? Where's the equal sign? Right there. And that's the answer is I-24.0. Okay? So don't forget to visit our website. And also,
you can subscribe to us in YouTube by clicking here for our new medical coding videos.
All right, just clicking the subscribe button and you will get?
You will get up to 3 videos every day that we make. ICD-10, CPTs, all that is needed to pass the medical coding certification exam.
Okay, so thanks a lot for watching, and don't forget to visit our website and also subscribe to our videos. Thank you.
Goodbye.
Bye.